Sawadee krap. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Khun Kwarting, for inviting me. I was listening backstage and I was wondering, Khun Kwarting invited me to this stage and to talk about AI. And why did he invite a management consultant? I think he is a wise person, so I think he probably figured that with the advancement of AI, even the management consulting industry is being disrupted. So we must study very hard of how we reinvent this profession. And he is right, and I'm going to talk some of that in my speech. But more importantly, we've been studying technology and how technology advancement has been transforming business and humanity over the years. AI is no exception. So I would like to talk about how AI is changing business and how to get the impact from AI. Before I talk about the impact of AI, I would like to speak a bit about the state of AI. We are really at the inflection point. I think the speakers before has talked about the latest advancement of AI. What I want to call to attention is not what has come the latest. Is it DeepSeek, GPT-5? It's actually the speed of advancement. AI evolution took decades in the early years, since 1950. Since the beginning of generative AI, we're talking about years of development. But most recently, we're talking about not months, but weeks, right? I've been subscribing a weekly AI blog, but what I find is the update is becoming daily, right? Every day, there are new advancements in AI technology. What is working in the background is not just human doing the research, but is actually AI doing most of the research to advance its own proficiency. We have up to 10 large language models which dominate today's AI world. If you look at this, it's really a competition between the West and the East. And what are they competing about? Okay. The clicker is not working, but yeah, okay, good. And then we're talking about efficiency in training cost. We're talking about specialized in complex reasoning. We talk about best open source versus closed model, real-time information retrieval. Different models are advancing these different features, which means as individuals or as companies, we need to harness to understand what is the best model for you and keep track of the latest advancement. Now, 2020, we see generative AI. And of course, with ChatGPT, we have now close to 1 billion people use ChatGPT or any of the large language model tools on a daily, monthly basis. And we have come a long way in the past few years. This went from simple text generation to creating synthesis and creating documents to this year, everyone talk about agentic actions and workflows. And what is coming next, right? And in 5 years, what could be possible? Artificial general intelligence is clearly something that people are seeing as through the fogs. It's coming. Autonomous agents, where multiple agents work together to get things done. But also in the physical world, humanoid robots are also becoming, in the physical world, a form of AI. Let me show you this quick video, and then there is a reason why I picked this video. This is a technology company from China. The AI robot that I just showed you is taking the action of human's hand. If you study robotics, you will know that the most difficult human physical function to replicate is the hand. That's also why you see in many of the automation assembly lines, you still have human doing the most simple hand movement because of the difficulty. But this is also being cracked as we speak. And imagine a world where it's not just the agentic AI, but also the physical AIs working in conjunction. And what is agent? How does it do for us? Right? We have automation long time ago. Agent is not just machines which do tasks for human. It is aware of its context. It can collaborate with other agents or other applications. It can learn. It can detect errors. It can use reasoning to find a path of solution. That's why agent has huge potential. If you look at the onset of generative AI, when human is using Gen AI tools to perform its task, we see a 20% productivity gain. We call it, this is the co-pilot world. Now with agent, when agent actually take over human task, we see the productivity increase doubled, right? Twofold the productivity. But imagine a multi-agent world. It is not just a human working with one agent. It is a factory, a team of agents working with human. And we can see the productivity increase by 15 to 20%, 15 to 20-fold, which means majority of human tasks, particularly when it comes to knowledge, reasoning, generation, can be replaced by agent. Now, with the advancement of AI, there comes something else. What is this on this picture? You may guess this could be a car factory. It's not, right? This is a AI factory. This is what OpenAI is asking Oracle to help it build. A gigawatt capacity, 400K GPU mega factory to train models to advance AI. And there are more and more of these being built in the United States. If you look across to Southeast Asia, there's also been at least 50 billion of investment committed to build up AI capacity. Right? If you look at only the top 4 cloud providers globally combined, this year we're talking about 300 billion of investment, and this number continues to rise. All of this investment, what does it mean on the impact side? Of course, there is huge potential. McKinsey being one of the institutions which make predictions of AI impact. Right? I think we can easily talk about 50 to 70% of task automation across different human functions. We talk about multi-trillion-dollar of global GDP impact across different industries. We talk about EBITDA uplift, and we're talking about new industries in technology being created, hundreds of billions of dollars of new industry in technology. And the impact we see has been real, right? Whether this is in sales and marketing, using generative AI to improve the hyper-personalized content generation, whether this is in customer operation, and if you use e-commerce these days, you wouldn't even know the service agent, the service person is a person or it's an AI bot who potentially can even be more empathetic than a human service worker. In R&D and software engineering, we have seen AI agent has significantly increased the productivity. NVIDIA is saying 50% of their code generation is done by AI, and Microsoft and Google has also given number up to 30%. So this is really happening. Which comes to my second point, are we really getting the value from AI? With all the hype. We see a few numbers. Of all the companies we have interviewed, 88% of them said they have deployed AI in their company. Right? I think for the colleagues who are attending today, you would have seen similar numbers as well in your companies. But only 25% of them have made meaningful progress in terms of pushing a real transformation versus just being a pilot. Right? Only 10% of the company have done AI deployment at scale, and less than 5% of the use cases being built have achieved its full potential. This number is shockingly similar to a recent MIT report, which talked about a similar figure of more than 80% deployment, but less than 10% of value capture. Now, what's wrong with it, right? As AI is supposed to be more intelligent, more human-friendly, why we see such a big gap of AI value capture? Now, to say the least, we see the phenomenon of horizontal use case deployment versus vertical. Horizontal means for all the functions you have in your company, we give employee co-pilots, we give them chatbots, so they can do their work slightly more productive. They can be a bit more insightful, and they can do their research with AI help. But jokingly, people are saying that this is freeing up time for employees to walk their dogs because they are probably saving 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's not a massive productivity improvement. The real impact actually comes from a vertical functional transformation. Across R&D, whether this is idea generation or research curation. In supply chain, this is kind of supply risk assessment, demand forecasting. There are multiple vertical use cases that can be deployed. But unfortunately, in those situations, we see very limited scaling in deployment, even though there is high potential of economic impact. So we further dig, what are the reasons behind this phenomenon? And we believe there are 6 roadblocks, from scattered initiatives to siloed teams to middle management dilemma, culture, tech stack, and even, as you all know it, hallucination, risk, and ethics from AI models. I'm going to talk about these. It is very easy for any company which the chairman or the CEO says, I'm going to embrace AI. And what happens? Every function will say, I am embracing AI, and I'm going to do something. Head of operations, head of marketing, head of HR, they will ask some smart young people to try and build some AI use cases. It is okay for the company to embrace and experiment with AI, but that hardly leads to value capture. We believe the right approach is a prioritized domain-based approach. Instead of spreading AI everywhere, why don't we decide for each company what is the most important function that can benefit from AI? Whether this is marketing or this is operations, the head of marketing or head of operation need to sign up. Right? They need to assess the full AI potential across their business domain. They need to get strong sponsorship. This have to make happen. And they have to line up the people, not just the technology side, but also the business side, to find the full potential. And they need to sign up for targets and manage change just like any digital transformation they have managed. Right? This is the domain-focused approach. Much easier for company leaders to hold the business function leaders accountable and much more likely to achieve the full potential. Second, let's look at what are the human factors. These are the words being said by our survey of the problems that is hindering AI value capture. If you look closer to it, you will say, wait a minute, this is nothing new. These words, mindset issues, talent, leadership, resource allocation, all of this exists when we are in our previous version of digital transformation and tech transformation. So AI adoption is also a tech-enabled business transformation. We should look at all the playbook that we have done before to see how do we capture the value of AI. It just moves faster, right? And the iteration is just a lot more high velocity compared with traditional digital transformation. And there are different ways to get to the value. Right? And then we are in Asia, so there are different words in our own language which talk about. The left-hand side is continuous improvement. Right? We can start fast, and then we keep improving and then get to the outcome. The other one, on the right-hand side, is radical change or transformation, which is saying, I will redefine how we do business here completely. One supply chain executive used to tell me that when he started the AI transformation in his function, he said, I tell my staff that we will redefine the relationship between human and machine. So don't think about improving your current process. Think about redefining your process, redefining how we do business with the availability of AI and technology. Technology is another roadblock, technology and data. Right? And how many of you have seen AI pilot being done on the backbone of existing technology stack? Right? And how far can you go? We end up building pilots and use cases in a siloed way. Right? It cannot scale. And then it is important to plan top-down of how a AI infrastructure will look like. From the application layer, where it is true human interaction, to the AI processing layer, to data, and to guardrails. Right? It needs to be enterprise-wide planning to make sure that we build technology for scale. How should a team work together? Right? And then in the old technology world, where we talk about business and technology team work together, we talk about concepts like user acceptance testing. We talk about kind of prototyping, wireframing. But in the AI adoption world, I think this close collaboration between business and technology become even more important. Because the business team need to become product managers. They need to understand what is possible with AI to transform the way they do business. They need to lead the design because they understand how to do the business. They will bring domain expertise to create these use cases, and they will do human-centered design. All of that is a bit shocking because you thought in the old world it is the technology team do the work and the business team check, or the business team write requirements and technology team will implement. But in the AI world, it's hard to imagine how the process will work without the business team understanding AI. It is also hard for the AI team or the technology team to prove their solution is 100% right without fine-tuning and testing and iterating with the business team. So a working together model, a highly iterative model, become critical of AI value capture. Lastly, the risks, right? This range from privacy violation, bias, discrimination, to inaccurate output hallucination. There are multiple elements that if we just blindly rely on the AI outcome, it is just not good enough. So it is important that we look at this common risk and put in the right guardrails and mechanism to make sure that we build robust applications. So here we have it. We talk about the 6 challenges, and here are the 6 shifts, right? From scattered initiatives to prioritize and domain-focused approach. From siloed AI teams to cross-functional squads that truly work together. Middle management dilemma for middle managers who are so scared about overcommitting targets and protecting the headcount to a top-down target alignment to say what is good enough and what are we aiming for. Culture and capability gap, we will need to do enterprise-wide upscaling, making everyone feel comfortable using AI and changing the mindset. Building a technology architecture that can scale architecture industrialization. And finally, for the risk and ethic challenges, put in the guardrails and risk management. Finally, I want to talk about what does AI mean for us, for the workforce. Just a few months ago, I think Jensen Huang made a very interesting statement when he was prompted by a reporter about job creation. He said, some job will be created, some job will be obsolete. Every job will be changed. And the last sentence, I think, is the key. Every job will be changed. It's not about, do I have a job or not? Even if you have your job, it will not be the same job. So harnessing AI, being able to use AI to do your work better is everyone's mandate to be able to sail through to the next age. And for the workforce, AI poses a huge potential. We talk about trillions of productivity gain. We talk about employee time saving of doing similar tasks. We talk about all the tools, agents, AI research tools, things that can be put to use to help improve human productivity. In Southeast Asia, this is a research that we have just finished, right? We interviewed operational managers, company leaders on what do you think AI is going to impact your workforce in the coming year. These 5 functions come out as the top functions which people will say there is most likely going to be reduction of actual headcount needed. Service operations, manufacturing, supply chain, software engineering, human resources. Right? These functions are where we see at least 3 to 10%, if not more than 10% of productivity cost headcount reduction. And then reducing headcount is not necessarily a bad thing. It also means that human can be freed up from mundane tasks to do more value-adding work. Now, I promise I will talk about McKinsey, how our own journey has been. And this is Lily, our own AI-enabled knowledge management agent. So we used to have, using a web-based knowledge system, which has tens of thousands of knowledge pieces we have done throughout our 100 years of existence. And it was very helpful for consultants to use to serve new clients. But now we're turning all of that into a Gen AI-based tool called Lily, which means AI can help us find the right document, generate the draft document, and even give a top-down CEO story of how you think about a certain issue. We have now 93% of all consultants have been using this tool, and we have been tens of millions of adoption in actual usage. And the curve, you can see, is a mere 18 months from the inception of the tool to almost a full adoption of the tool across our consulting base. And this is also how we want to change our own profession by enabling our workforce to focus on the more value-adding things, the more empathetic problem-solving part versus the research and content generation work. And we done this by identifying the opinion leaders, having them try the tool first, making the tool so much of a kind of a topic that people want to apply to use it, and then eventually we roll this out to the general population. For any company thinking about this, I would say, let's do a few things. Let's create a psychological safety. Let's give the continuous improvement culture, and let's continue to collaborate and knowledge share so that more and more of the workforce can learn how to use AI. Lastly, I would end you with a thought, right? AGI is coming. It's going to be an intelligence far superior than human. It takes multiple things to make sure that AGI is truly used in the hands of human. This is about aligning the values with AI, with human values, maintaining the right oversight and establishing the governance. But all of that is something that will be coming very soon. So, what is going to be the world you envision going forward? Acropolis, or this is collaboration and more joy? I think you have your thoughts. So thank you for having me here, and I am very glad to have the opportunity to share my thoughts today. And then I hope you have a great event. Thank you.